All right, let's get this started. What's up, movie watchers, and welcome to episode 14 of the Lunar Cut, your place for long form, raw, and unedited discussions about a TV show or movie that we're passionate about this week. I'm Kevin Kane. That's the return of Travis Moon. Come and join us on the edge of those seats. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are glad you're joining us on this discussion. Secondly, what exactly is this? The Lunar Cut is a podcast. It's a play off Director's Cut. Uh, it was kind of my idea to have just a long discussion with my friends to just talk about movies like we normally would, but maybe a little more organized, and just kind of let it play out. Well, we have a base structure of going through the three acts of the movie. We use that base pretty much, or at least me. I use it very much as an outline, and then I'm free to go off the rails whenever I want. Likewise, my guests as well, but I'm more penchant to doing it than anyone else, to be honest. Anyways, we discuss things like plots, visuals, cinematography, leaps in logic, weird tangents, and anything and everything in between. For an hour or more, often in an hour, you get two idiots to exhaust your mind holes and talk your ears off about a movie or a TV show. This week, we're going to talk about Child's Play, but before we get started, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Where can you watch us? This show is part of the Moon Movie Review YouTube channel, and also you can find it in podcast form on various podcast services out there, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. As always, links to all those things are in the description. Also, if you want to get a hold of me, ask me questions, give me suggestions about something to talk, I did set up an email finally, and it's thelunarscut@gmail.com. Thelunarscut@gmail.com. I will put it in the link in case you can't understand the words that I'm saying, which is very possible. It should be pretty easy, but there's no apostrophe. I wish I could do that, but I just can't. Anyways.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Also, shout out to Dan and the crew at Crowdtown Creative for awesome intro and outro music. You can find them for your creative needs at www.crownandtown.com. There we go. Now we can minimize this window, and I can actually look at the camera. Travis, Child's Play. What were you thinking going into this? Were you excited?
So I was actually super excited going into it. I kept trying to remember if you and I watched Child's Play as a kid.
Very possible.
I think we did.
The mom.
Do it.
The mom from Seventh Heaven. She's the mom in Child's Play. That's the main thing.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can't remember her name, but yeah, she's probably really old now. But I think we did. But yes, I was really excited for it. I love reboots actually on almost anything until they come out, and then I'm free to change my mind after that. I don't know that I changed my mind on this, but I liked it, but I have some problems with it.
Yeah. So I first off, it had Aubrey Plaza. I love her to death. I love Mark Hamill as a voice actor. I think he's very, very, very talented when it comes to voice acting, and I feel like the direction he was given, he nailed. Whether or not you agree with the direction he was given is depending on your opinion. But I feel like what he was given, I understand what his kind of how he handled his voice acting for this movie, and it makes sense to me. I'm still debating if I liked how it was or not, but handled it perfectly, right? Like he started off slow and then ramped up right at the end when he was supposed to. And I think it's because I've been a big fan of his from like the Joker and all his his other voice acting, mainly the Joker because it's my favorite. I know it could be menacing as hell, and so I was waiting for it. And maybe we waited a little too long. But either way, it came, and I was like, "Man, Mark Hamill, treasure." So yeah, I think overall I enjoyed it. I guess when it comes to this show, if you have A-list, right? Would I tell you to go watch it? I was like, yeah, you can spend one on there. Like if there's nothing else you wanted to watch, you wanted to be entertained for a bit, I think you'll enjoy yourself. I think fans of the Child's Play franchise, I feel like it might be like a split. Like maybe some of them are like, yeah, it's fine, and the other were like really upset. But it kind of brings me into something that we'll probably talk about later, maybe towards the end, with my love for the horror genre and the reflections of the age that they are in that reflect the climate, the political climate, or the social climate of their day and age. So back then, it made sense to have a movie about a cultist or someone doing voodoo magic to prevent his soul from going to hell to kill people, right? Like that was in the 80s. There was a lot of the Satanist everyone was scared because that was a big thing people were worrying about. And so now, if they had done the same thing, which I think there's a TV show on Sci-Fi, it's probably going to do the same thing. It seems a little dated. The whole atheists are coming to kill you and corrupt your kids fear is kind of not there anymore. So it would have been a little out of place, in my opinion, if they had went that way. Instead, they went with technology, which is very much current in our climate. We do have an unnerving fear of the things that technology is doing and what we're allowing to our house and what we're allowing our privacy to go away. There's rogue AIs, like it seems very timely, and that's why I was fascinated with the change, and so that's why I wanted to watch it. Overall, before we start going into spoilers, I think it was enjoyable. I liked it fine enough, but my overall rating system that I think makes you laugh every time I say it. Would I put this on my DVD shelf? Probably not. I don't think I don't think I'm gonna end up buying it and putting it on there. That's not to say that if someone gave it to me, I'd be like, "You fucking suck, burn it." I'd just be like, "Okay, cool." You know what I mean? Like it's, but I don't think I'm gonna be going out there trying to get it. Maybe a bin sale, right? It might be a bin sale. Like you go to Best Buy or something, and they have that bin, and you're like, "Oh, hey, all right." Like that's kind of
$5, but yeah.
I don't know if you have any lasting thoughts before we kind of go into this. We should probably discuss where the first act ends. I think the first two acts are rather long in this movie, or at least the second act. What I mean to say is the third act I feel is kind of short.
Yeah. No, I understand. I don't have anything to add on top of what you've already said that I won't address in the meat of our video. So proceed.
So we start with an introduction to the company that runs the world. Apparently, is Kaslan. Kaslan makes everything. And it's the only way for this whole thing to work is that they do literally everything. We get introductions to the Kaslan company. We get introductions to the doll, and the doll is essentially like an AI sentient version of Alexa in a really creepy doll form. Right? Imagine if your Alexa could walk around inside of a doll, but then also learn through complex artificial intelligence to better serve you and be a better friend to you.
I do not want to imagine that. That sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, it's too late. We already. And so we learn that, and we're like, okay, that's the set of this movie. Instead of it being a murderer who transports his body, his soul into a doll with voodoo magic, this is an AI story. The AI is going to go rogue because the AI always goes rogue. Skynet always comes self-aware, and we're doomed, and we're going to burn in hell probably. So the whole interesting setup of this film, which made me chuckle. By the way, I found this film quite funny.
Yeah, me too.
I laughed quite a lot during this film. Maybe because I just like horror too much, and I just see the setups, and I'm just like, yeah, that's fun. It seemed like a dark humor. So the reason why we were going to end up having this movie at all is that there is a lovely gentleman in some country. I'm trying to remember what country it was. Like, was it China? I can't remember. I don't know if they ever said it. I think it was China. Regardless, we have a lovely gentleman who has his head in the sky, thinking about better things, not wanting to be on the manufacturing line for this stupid doll company. And he gets caught by his manager, and his manager berates him quite harshly, in my opinion. Like, he's like, "You're out of here. But before I fire you, finish this doll, and then I'll fire you, and then you can leave." Like, I was like, okay, I guess. I don't know why you just wouldn't just leave. Whatever.
Piss your employees off, dude.
So, employee, rightly pissed off. Like, that whole situation, I was like, I feel bad for that guy. Like, it seems pretty harsh, bro. Shouldn't we have this conversation in private? Like, I don't know.
No, not low-wage workers like that, you know. It's just
it turns out that our pie in the sky manufacturer is actually really good coder, and deprograms all of the safety measures in the artificial intelligence in the chip in Chucky, and then it's like, "Mwahaha," and just puts the chip in, boxes it up. We get a convenient tell with the box that the corner's busted, so you always know it's his. That's our Chucky.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you noticed it. Just the corners.
I didn't catch that.
It was not. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
I did wonder though why there were so many unsafe features originally installed in the programming that a programmer would have to remove.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
You start off with an AI that, of course, is probably military based, kind of like Small Soldiers, if you remember that movie.
Everything kind of has to start there, right, and work its way into consumer.
No, you put up some walls. Just put up some walls, and I'm just gonna turn them off. And see what we get a great tell that his eyes go red, so that's when you know he's evil.
Right.
On the nose, but whatever. I mean, we've been doing that for forever, right? Look up. Remember all the Terminators? Red.
Yeah. There's actually a whole video on that concept alone in cinema. Bad, anything robotic, if it's red eyes, it's bad. If it's blue or green, it's good.
Robot. Another example.
Yeah.
It's been for a while, so I'm not gonna be upset now. In this one particular film.
How dare you?
Over a trope. And so we follow the doll. It gets put in a box, and then I believe we meet Aubrey Plaza's character Karen, who works the worst job in retail customer service. Who a gentleman comes back and said, "This is a ginger baby. I wanted the blonde baby," and she's like, "There's a panel on the box. You can see that it's ginger. I'm not giving you your money back."
This was such a funny scene.
And it's just Aubrey Plaza being Aubrey Plaza, right? Like she nails this. She's just
yeah. He points to the advertisement first, and she's like, "That's the Buddy 2. You bought the Buddy 1."
2. Also, you can see he's redheaded.
He's like, "Thanks for your help."
And she kind of looks like she doesn't like her job. We kind of move on from there. We get introduced to Andy, of course, our hero in this movie, who has a hearing aid. I think I want to know when that was written in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It ends up becoming kind of a cool bit later. I wonder if they were just like, well, we need a way to freak him out and no one else hear Chucky, so let's just give him a hearing aid, and then he can talk through the hearing aid. Like, I don't know if that's how it started. Either way, they pointed out he has a hearing aid. She comes home. He doesn't do any unpacking. They move to a new place, get a new life. It's that whole thing. She's a single mom, apparently. And she kind of... I like the relationship. They don't expand on it too much, honestly, in this movie. But he kind of gets it. He's old. He's 13. He's old enough to kind of know they're in a shit spot. She's trying real hard, but he's also still a kid. And so we kind of get introduced to that dynamic. Real quick, I'm just going to go through the characters, if you don't mind, because I'm just going to blaze through them. We get introduced to the asshole boyfriend.
Henry. What a
Henry?
dick.
No, Henry is Shane. Henry is Kaslan. Henry Kaslan. Shane is the boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, Shane's the boyfriend. It's okay if you don't remember his name. He's kind of an asshole. And we will...
I just call him Dick.
We'll reiterate how much of an asshole he is. So we get introduced to him. And, Andy doesn't like this relationship because it turns out Shane's an asshole, but apparently Karen doesn't know it. And we also, I don't think we get introduced to his two friends yet during this moment in time. But essentially what ends up happening, and I'm going to blaze through this, is that the doll that someone returned, she ends up seeing if she can take it to her son as a present. And she ends up blackmailing the manager because he has sex in the storeroom. And Andy's married. And so Aubrey Plaza has a great part where she's just like, I really think your wife would like to know that. And he's like, and he's like, fucking take it. And she's like, okay, well, say hi to your wife for me. Like,
yeah.
Just totally owning that moment. So she takes it home. She shows it. She gives it as a present to her son, which I thought was interesting, right? Because the original movie, he's much younger, where getting the Buddy doll would make a little more sense. But then I was like, well, it's essentially a walking, functioning Alexa. So really, I don't know if there's a age limit here, right? You could find functions for this thing if you wanted, the way they made it. But he was kind of like, nah. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool. I don't know. He has a shit phone. He wants to get a new one. That's actually what he wanted, but she got him the doll instead because the doll was free. Um, so, anyways, plugs the doll in. There's like an app, sets it up. It's kind of funky, right? She said it was refurbished, which it was not. Like, she just took it from the person and then brought it there. But this, of course, because the corner is ruffled, the same corner from the beginning of the movie, we know this is the AI, the disgruntled worker, or sorry, the robot the disgruntled worker had fucked with. And so we have a movie now. Otherwise, there would be no movie. Because if it was just a regular doll, we would continue living and nothing would happen. So he ends up activating it. It's a little weird. We get Mark Hamill giving kind of like the beginning of his performance was just very much just a kind, friendly friend. He acts a little weird. We notice him acting kind of absorbing a lot of information. Key point here apparently is that he was not connected to Wi-Fi. I don't think they have internet because once he's connected to Wi-Fi, that's when shit gets crazy. Like once he connects to the overall Kaslan,
That makes sense.
if you will. I'm assuming Kaslan spells cloud with a K. Well, I don't know, but I just wanted to highlight that because at the beginning part of the movie, he's never does anything as crazy as he does towards the end of the movie, and I think the justification for that is that he's not connected to the network. He's very much just connected to the dude's phone.
Oh, see, I also think it's because so one of my favorite parts about the movie is this part in the movie where in the original, you have the whole voodoo and the soul swapping thing. You don't need to grow the Chucky doll, right? Because it doesn't have a starting, it has a starting point, but its life already existed. So as an AI, which by the way, I do not like that concept in this movie, but as an AI, the moment you turn it on, it literally has to begin learning.
Right.
As an artificial intelligence. And so the most interesting part is that they actually spent a good 20 or 30 minutes on him trying to navigate and process information.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny. It's very interesting. So I don't think he learns violent behavior essentially in the movie. Right. And so you almost can't really blame Chucky for it. You kind of can, but you can't at the same time,
He didn't show off his safeties. He didn't show. He didn't choose to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre with a bunch of kids. That wasn't his fault.
Right, that's true. But he also didn't absorb any good information. He apparently only absorbed violent information.
Yeah, it's a path of least resistance.
That stuff.
It was a path of least resistance, right? When you put the walls up, there's a wall, and he's like, "Oh, good, I'll learn good." But when you have the bad, as we know, if we can do an analogy, good is ladders, bad is chutes. Chutes are easier. That's how I live in this universe they've created. But we get some cool things where he's trying to teach him some stuff. He's starting to really like him. We get a couple of moments where Shane comes over. And Andy does not like Shane. He just will leave the house if Shane's in there. He does walk on them almost having sex in the living room kitchen, right? Because it's a small apartment. That was kind of grody. He also has an asshole moment later. I don't think we're there yet, where he walks in and is overzealously putting his belt back on.
Oh my god! I know. Part of people's like, why is that?
Got the belt loop through the thing. Oh, I have to
man. I could really use a beer and a smoke. Where's the smoke, Sonny?
Sex in here. Oh, hey. So we get some moments where he tries to. I don't think he meets Pug and I forgot the girl's name. I don't know. Did they mention her name? I remember Pug because that was weird.
It's Fallon.
Why?
So they do meet them right here because he's out with Chucky.
Yeah. And
Chucky says something bad as they're walking by, and they're like, "He's not supposed to do that."
And he's like, "Yeah, mine's special." And they're like, "Fucking cool. Let's go cat." We get a real fun moment where they're trying to get Chucky to do more fucked up shit with all of his friends. I think they teach you how to stab a cat. I think there's a moment. with like a fake knife, and they're like, "This is for Tupac." It's like stupid shit. The kids would
Yeah.
teach a fucking AI, and the AI is just like, "Okay, this is fun," and just learning that all these stupid hijinks that kids get into. It's like this is how to keep them happy. And as we learn, whenever he scanned Andy's face, my goal in life now is to keep Andy happy. Admirable coding if we have buzz up, right? Otherwise, it's going to get real crazy, which it does.
Also
So
a plot hole, but yes.
we Andy's mom, Karen, of course, wants Andy to make friends. He seems kind of like a loner, walking with his hood on at all times. I like the funny. I just thought it was funny. Anytime he goes to school, we always see him walk up to the door, but never go through it, and we don't ever see him in school. And the only reason I'm assuming that's school is because he's a kid and he should go to school, but it could be fucking anything for all I know, man. That could be like a MMA gym, and he's just like a fighter.
It's not. It's cool. There's actually a scene where his mom comes home and she's like, "Why aren't you in school?" So
maybe that day. I don't know. It's not funny. They like didn't even have him walk in. They're just like, it's fine, good enough. Just walk out the door. People will get it. We got other shit to watch in this movie. So yeah, he meets his friends Pug and Fallon. That's right. Fallon.
Falyn is how they spell it.
Interesting. So like Jimmy Fallon, a cooler spelling. Got it. And they end up becoming friends. They end up doing stupid, dumb kid stuff. They watch, like I said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which makes me... I really need to watch that movie again. I forgot how fucked up that movie is.
It's really stupid, but nowadays we could easily laugh and have a good time at it.
It's fucked up. That was made back when you thought shit like that shouldn't be on film.
Right. It was considered scary.
We're going to cut shop faces off. We're going to stab a body repeatedly. I was like, man, this was a fucked up movie. And of course, Chucky's...
tries to put it on.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chucky's downloading all this information. Like, I'm watching all of this violence.
And you guys were laughing.
This must be what you guys want. I just have violent, and you'll enjoy this. And I'm trying to remember the first violent act we get from Chucky. I'm a dog person. I'm pretty sure you're a dog person.
Yeah.
Fuck cats. So I don't care. Like, I was like, fuck that cat. Minute it showed up, I was like, it scratched me. Fuck that cat. And so Andy's like, fucking cat, always fucking cutting me. I just wish this cat would get strangled by a doll. Okay, that's what I wish right now. And of course, the doll's like, oh, okay, cool. And he ends up strangling the cat. He just actually says, I wish this cat would go away.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, okay, I can take care of that. Was that before he watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or before?
No, that's after.
Okay,
because
so
he doesn't learn like the stabbing or violent. You know what I mean? Like, because you can explain the scene, but you remember the scene.
Yeah,
it's one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
So the cat gets bit, and the Chucky's just hanging out in the room. Cat bites him. Fuck that cat. You know what I'm talking about? And he's like, God, this cat is so annoying. I hate this cat. Wish it would just go away. Just kind of have a fucking 13-year-old tantrum like we all did back in the day. He goes with a Band-Aid on, comes back. Goddamn cat's getting strangled by fucking Chucky. And I was like, this is fucking hilarious. Because I don't even know if his hands could get around the neck. You know what I mean? Like, the hands doesn't seem that long. But it's robot, right? So it has robot strength. So maybe he just, like, grabbed the veins and just crushed them into the neck. Which is fine. It's like, yeah, okay. But I don't remember actually seeing it. But I was just like, fuck. They don't care. Like, remember, maybe it's just me. But we all know that cats are evil assholes. It's a fact. They did science.
It's not just you.
If you die, they will eat you. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's also a fact.
To digest your soul.
Yes. So the fact that he bit Andy is probably the easiest thing to believe in this movie. Yeah. And the fact, and I just think it's funny because we just like, you and me like John Wick so much, and that movie's built off the fact that some assholes killed a fucking puppy, and the audience is already wishing everyone would get fucking killed who did that. They're on board. Fuck yeah, John Wick. Get back and kill those motherfuckers. Yeah. But in this one, just not in this one, there was no one in the audience that was like, come on. It was just like, yeah, fuck that. Granted, there wasn't very many.
No one felt sad in my movie either.
So he kills the fucking cat, which good for him. So far, he hasn't done anything bad, in my opinion. But Andy's like, that was my mom's cat. So my solution for all of my problems is I'm going to walk down and throw it in the chute, in the trash can. Solves all problems. So he just fucking throws the cat down the chute. Mom's like, where's the cat? He's like, I don't know. Maybe you left the door open, bitch. Maybe that's what you did. You did that. It's your fault, really.
No, he blames it on Shane. Or the other. He blames it on the boyfriend.
It's awesome if he did. I don't remember.
He did. He's like, so-and-so left the door open.
I just heard the door open, and I thought he was just kind of like, you left the door open again. But
yeah,
okay.
He blamed it on her boyfriend.
Good for him. So that was the first violent act. And I feel like, do you feel like this is kind of where the first act is kind of ending? It's a setup, is when we finally see the AI kind of be violent.
Yeah, definitely when he kills the cat. But I want to rewind real quick for 1 second and go back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's the first inkling that he gets of violence, right? You literally see this you can call it a montage. It's not really a montage, but he's watching the violence and he's watching the kids laugh and he's watching the violence and he's going back and forth, and then he gets the knife and he's like slowly walking towards Pug. And they're all like, ah, that's so funny. They're like, good one, Chucky. And then he keeps going, and they're like, Pug's like, wait a minute, it's not so cute anymore. Now it's actually really creepy.
Wait.
And then he tackles him, with a pillow.
Right, but they get rid of him at that point.
Yeah. They go and they dump him in his room.
So the cat was before he watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, I think the cat dies after. He chokes the cat before. But
right,
I think he doesn't learn the stabbing technique yet. So he kills the cat after the Texas Chainsaw Massacre issue.
My bad. I overzealously was too excited about cat murder.
Yeah.
He tries to strangle the cat before he watches the movie. So that's the first inkling we get of him really wanting to protect Andy. So anytime he watches someone kind of be mean to Andy, you can see him download that information and kind of be like, I need to step up. Andy's not happy. I'm supposed to keep Andy happy. So he chokes the cat. Cat lives. My bad. I totally busted that one.
You're good.
And then we get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He walks him with a knife, and they're kind of like, "Oh shit, this is fucking." I love it that Fallon is just totally gets everything.
Yeah.
This is our fault. We saw it coming. We gave the rogue AI all of this. Skynet is rising. This is what happens. And I was like, thank you, Fallon. Thank you. I'm glad you kids get it. You're fun, but you realized you pushed too far. You were too busy asking what you could do instead of asking if you should do it. Much like Ian Malcolm likes to say. I paraphrase that. Goldblum delivers it a lot better than I can. But I just like that bit. Like, these kids are smart. These kids are like me. They watch shit, and they're like, we need to kill this fucking thing. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Now, of course, there's a convoluted way for him to come back, but at least people are acting a little bit smartly, or at least kind of, right? At least enough for me to be like, I'm on board with these people. I want to see them live.
Yeah, I mean, enough for children, right? Because children don't have the same mental processes that an adult would have. Whereas an adult wouldn't actually be afraid of it. It would just go it would pick Chucky up and go do something. It would break it, cut it. It would do something bad to it. But the kids are a little more afraid of it, and they literally have to come up with like a plan, to capture Chucky and kill him.
Yeah. They're freaked out and they're like, we gotta kill this fucking AI. So I'd say the first act ends right when they realize what they fucked up. So I think that's a good first act. Some key scenes I kind of want to go back to. We get a great scene of Andy taking Chucky back to the laundromat picnic table to have that's where he likes to hang out whenever fucking Shane's in the house. And he has he vents to Chucky, and he's there to be like a listener to him. They try and throw bottles into the trash can, but that's a good sweet moment where he was really in the vulnerable place. He was venting to a friend, which the AI creepily walks and creepily has facial expressions and is pretty sentient. So it's just like, I got you, bro. I know, just vent all you want. But he's processing. He's keeping all this information. He's he realizes Andy's sad, and it kind of sets up the rest of the movie. That was a key scene I kind of wanted to go into. I don't think Shane gets pissed off at Andy yet. I can't remember. I think it might have been in the first act. Now that I think about it, because yeah, Andy has a heart-to-heart with Chucky. Actually, starts becoming friends with them, and he's like, you know what we fucking should do? We should fuck with Shane. And
Yeah, that was funny.
yeah, let's go. He didn't say that, but that'd be cool. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So he's like trying to get his face to be scary. He's like, okay, but smile, but then frown, but smile. And I love that this is all apparently all animatronic. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah, it looked like
it's hard. So it's so fucking creepy. Like the way he can meld his face into different fucking things. Like I really need to get you a creepy face. And so he ends up putting a prank on Shane. Very horror movie-esque, right? Like, essentially, what would happen in the horror movie in general? Like he opens the fridge, or the fridge is closed. He doesn't. There's nothing in the background. He opens the fridge and closes it, and Chucky's there. It's just like this kid's having way too much fun. So he fucking yells at the doll and gets creeped out at him. So that was a fun bit. But essentially setting up that Shane really doesn't like Andy, and Andy doesn't like Shane, and they both kind of know it. So yeah, I think that's the first act, pretty much. We're gonna go after that whenever they hash their plan to kind of get rid of Chucky. I don't think I've missed anything. He walked in on Shane and doing his belt fucking bullshit. I think that was.
Yeah, I mean,
part of me.
Okay, yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, that's the end of the first.
Either way, he has a tantrum. Does Shane fucking get really physical with Andy?
He just throws him on the bed, which is definitely more forceful than he should be. You know,
as far as I think he overstepped his bounds by a fucking country mile.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like Karen, as much as I love Aubrey Plaza, should be really fucking upset. Like, this is not a kid. That is not your job. That is my job.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, if you have a problem, you talk to me. You don't talk to Andy, right? Like, it's like you're trying to be a dad right now, but that's not what I fucking need, and that's not what I fucking want. You know what I'm talking about? Like, how fucking dare you? But then she just kind of gets a little upset at him. I feel like she should get more upset.
Yeah,
but to be fair to her, I don't know if she knows what he did inside the room because he shuts the fucking door. So she might not fully grasp what he did.
I don't think she ever figures it out. All he admits to is talking to Andy. We had a talk, right? That's all he really says. I don't know that she actually knows he pushed him or really threw him on the bed. But yeah, there is actually a lot in the first act that leads us to kind of believe that she's either got lonely issues, you know, or she just chooses men badly. Not to say that it's all on her, right? We're about to find out something that's a huge thing for him.
You know what I'm talking about? Who hasn't?
Yeah, and we all have, but like she tolerates everything he does. You know what I mean? And he's trash the whole time.
There's some key character moments for Shane that they harp in, as if you didn't need more motivation to watch him die. They pepper in like she's like, I made cookies. They're probably gonna be great. He's like, I'm actually hungry. I'm like,
I want to get a beer.
It's like, you were proud of something. You had this is a moment where I should encourage you. How about I say fuck you in your face and then go get a beer? That's how I'm in the situation. Because that's like so the moments like that.
Here to. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
What else? I'm trying to think if there's another character moment they added in quick there. So she's asleep on his lap, like he's watching TV, and he's like, "Shut up, Andy! Like, your mom's asleep." That wasn't too bad, but I was just like, "Bitch, this is my house."
Right? Yeah. What?
Don't fucking tell me to shut up in my house. Jesus. And then of course the walking of the belt thing was a bit of a miss. He's like, he can't even stay in the same room as me. He's like, yeah, Shane, I wouldn't either. Like, if I was his friend, I would have been like, fuck Shane. Like, Pug and Ballin are probably like, dude, Shane's a dick. He's like, I know.
I know. Yeah, there's a lot of information sprinkled in the first act that does, you know, I mean, it does kind of lead us to help explain that she's a struggling mother. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have everything in place. Andy's not in the best situation.
Yep.
So there's a reason why he grows so close to Chucky in the first act.
Yeah. She's busy working, right? You could say I wouldn't go far as neglect, right? I think she is there for him, but she
Definitely
also
not.
support a child being a single parent, which is hard. So she's not there for a large portion of his day. You imagine. They also had a big move for whatever reason. They don't ever say if it's to get away from the previous father or not. They're just like, we need to get away. He has a busted phone, and she's like, I can't get you a replacement now. I'm just trying to work to support the move we just did, right? So times are hard, and so Andy's going through a lot, and on top of the fact that he doesn't know anyone, he gets some pretty good friends currently. I love that she's so happy she gets whenever like they come inside. Where Pug's like, "Where's Andy? We're here for Andy." It's just like,
she's like, he just walk right in. Yeah, who are you guys? He's like, dude, your sister's hot. He's like, that's my mom. He's like, even hotter.
And I love how Aubrey played that, where she just was like, you could see like a genuine happiness for her to see her son make friends.
Right.
So yeah, I love Aubrey. So I think we should take a break. We'll see if everything breaks after we do this. But
all right, real quick, if you love Aubrey Plaza, you need to go back and watch. It's an indie film, and it's just a really, really well written movie.
Okay.
But it's about time travel, and it's Aubrey Plaza is the main actress in it. It's fantastic.
Guys like puts a news ad out about time travel. Okay, I saw the trailer and I was like, I kind of want to watch that.
It's actually when I watched it, I was actually blown away by it. It's very simple. It's not a complex movie, but it's absolutely amazing, and Aubrey does fantastic in it.
Also, I would recommend for fans and you the FX show that is probably going to get canceled, Legion, which is about one character in the X-Men universe, Charles Xavier's son, who is able to his power. He has telepathy, right? But he has different personalities, so he can absorb a personality into his mind and ends up becoming multiple people. That's kind of the setup of his comic book character. But in the show, it's so fucking crazy. But Aubrey Plaza plays like the key personality in him, and she's fucking amazing. There's even an episode where she does like dance routines, like a fucking musical. I remember the first season, and she's fucking stunning. Like, it's awesome. I'm behind. They're about to do the season 3, and I still need to watch season 2. But that's a bit of a mind trip show because like I said, he's insane a little bit. You don't know what really is going on. Untrustworthy narrator type shit. It's wacky as fuck. But I really need to get into it. At least the first season, she's in it, and she's amazing. And she's in the subsequent 2 seasons as well. That's a great show too. But like I said, Disney bought Fox, so I don't think they're going to keep that going.
Yeah, who knows? Everything's a big question mark right now.
But it didn't tie into anything at all, anyways. Right? Like, it wasn't like James McAvoy was on the show to be like, my son. Right. It was just like if you didn't know that he was his son, besides like hints here and there, then you wouldn't get it. It's kind of like another good show that I like on Sci-Fi, Krypton.
Okay.
As well. But Krypton is the story of Superman's grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So while it does tie into a lot of stuff in the future, there's really no Superman business. It's all on the planet that ended up dying. So they didn't ever have to be like, where's Superman? It's like, it's not, it's fucking the past. What are we just doing? Anyways, let's take a quick break. We will come back. I'm going to get a refill on my drink, and then you might as well too. So I'm going to stop this recording. It's starting in 2 seconds.
I'm just going to pick up my Audacity right where we left off. So.
Me too. But I'm going to go ahead and get my clap.
You want a second clap?
Yep. Brad. It's going to be really easy to pick out a clap after and line them up similar in Skype, because the Skype's going to have a similar like peak. So, all right. So, Travis, are you ready? Let's get Act 2 and possibly 3 done.
Let's do it.
So, just a reminder, fans, Shane is still an asshole. I wanted to get that on paper real quick. We're going to sum that up. We really want to hammer that home. So, the kids, Andy, Pug, and Fallon realize AI's going crazy. We need to get rid of this fucking thing. And I love it because they're all like, they take it seriously. And I think that like most kids kind of do, regardless of how wacky shit gets. Like they're very like, we got to do this. We fucked up. We taught it too much fucked up shit. This is on us. We need to end it. And so we get Andy, who at this point does have a relationship with Chucky. By the way, he names it Chucky. I forgot, it was a while back. That they actually don't have a name.
He named himself Chucky.
I forgot. Because his name was...
He wants to name it Han Solo. And then he's like, did you say Chucky?
Whatever. It's fine. I don't care. It's not the biggest hang-up I have in this movie. So they devise an interesting plan. Andy has to... It's so fucking funny. I laughed so much in this movie. So Chucky is... I forgot at what point Chucky realizes that, or thinks Karen is a threat. I think it's when he fucks with Shane, and she's like, you can't do this. I'm going to lock him up, and you can only spend an hour with him in a day. And so she locks Chucky up. I'm bringing this up because he has to figure out Karen's a threat too. And I can't remember exactly where it happens. It's definitely before they fucking kill him, or try to kill him. But he ends up getting locked in the thing, but Chucky ends up breaking out of there when Andy comes home one day. And does he kill the cat then?
Yeah, I don't know. You're just like I only remember when the major events take place.
That's fine. Well, I mean, like, I just, that's a key point for me because you have to establish Karen as a threat because Andy's upset. Yeah. Andy's not happy whenever Karen, his mom, puts Chucky in the fucking
cupboard thing.
The bookcase.
Like Indian in the cupboard
thing. So she locks him in there. Andy comes home and it's like, where's Chucky? And goes to the glass. And of course, the glass has been broken. And he's like, because he kind of knows that this Chucky doll is a little fucking smart, like a little beyond what we should expect. He's past the threshold of me not being creeped out right now. If there's a line, if there's a graph for that, and I think that's where he ends up killing the cat because the cat he remembers her Andy, and so that's when he throws the cat down the chute. He's like fuck, and so by the time Chucky comes in with the knife when they're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's kind of like, guys, this is probably serious. He killed my cat, and I got away with that. Now, he tried to come at us with a knife thinking we were going to have a good time. We really need to deal with this. So, Andy, of course, his job is to lure Chucky into the next room, and Andy's crying. But the funny bit is that Chucky's there with a fucking pocket knife he got somewhere. Like, just a legit fucking knife. Yeah. Like, and so I think Andy has a bat, if I remember correctly. And so there's like a little bit of a standoff, and Andy's kind of crying. He's like, Chucky, give me the knife. And then we have a little tense moment where we don't know what's going to happen. And so just hands him the knife, and he's like, thank you. Let's go have some fun in this back room. Just like crying the whole time. I'm like, you really have no poker face. Luckily, this AI has not learned the nuances of human reaction. Otherwise, you're not setting this up good. But anyways, he's real. But he knows the plan. He's real torn up. We kind of get it. Like he had a buddy, and now through his own doing, essentially, if they want to take his responsibility for it, he's become rogue. He's gone rogue like Ethan Hunt. You know what I'm talking about? He's gone rogue. It's our fault.
Way more rogue than that.
Yeah. He kills a lot of people.
Way more rogue.
Kills a lot.
Does Ethan Hunt really go rogue? Let's be honest.
He goes rogue every movie. They have a movie called Rogue.
Does he really, though?
Every movie.
He's just doing what he thinks is right.
He's rogue. There's two things that have to happen in the Mission Impossible movie. His hair has to be glorious, and he has to go rogue at some point.
Now they have to disavow him. That's what he gets disavowed before he's gone rogue. He gets disavowed every single movie, and then he's quote unquote rogue.
As far as government official on paper, when they review the incident afterwards, he went rogue. That's
okay. Fair enough.
Coming back to Chucky, Jesus, how dare we talk about Mission Impossible and fucking they lure him into the room, and Pug is hanging out behind the door, and does what you do to a human when you want to like knock him unconscious in a movie. You hit him in the head. I don't know what it would do to a robot besides like make him fall down, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they get AI concussions, right? Like,
oh, the fluid in my brain really makes me sleepy.
I don't blame you for doing it. Like, it's all the plan. So I just thought it was funny. I also find it funny in most movies whenever they're like, we need to knock this person out, so we're going to hit them in the head, and they always get knocked out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like fuck, what the hell? Like, there's never that, except for some funny where it happens, like where they have to keep punching him. Like, it always works in the movies. Like, I appreciate it. Like the butt smash, the rifle.
Yeah.
I'm like, where'd you hit him? You did the bit where it comes at the camera, so you hit him in the face. Like, that would just fucking hurt. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I would not be having a good time, but I don't think I'd be knocked out unless you hit me in the chin, like at this angle. But whatever. So they pounce on him, and it turns out that he's also powered by an arc reactor, much like Tony Stark. And they rip the arc reactor out, and they're like, "We did it, guys. We prevented Judgment Day. Skynet will not become aware. We gotta get rid of this. How do we solve all our problems, Travis? How do we solve all our problems?
Trash chute.
Yes, that's exactly how we solve all our problems. Throw them down the trash chute. Unfortunately, you were introduced to a character earlier in the movie. It really isn't that important. He was just being creepy, but we're gonna introduce creepy Gabe. Gabe is creepy. He's also the, what do they call it in apartments? The guy that takes care of stuff.
He's the Supra.
Yes, he's a super.
Super. I'm sorry. He's the Super. Yeah.
Super, like a car from Fast and Furious.
Well, I have a Super. A Super is what I use in my job that gets me in houses that are vacant. That are listed by realtors. But yes, it's a Super. You're right.
Or a Supra, like the car.
No, we don't talk about such things.
So the Chucky goes on the trash. I like to imagine maybe creepy Gabe probably did some creepy stuff with the body of a dead cat as well, but maybe it's in a deleted scene. So Chucky lands in the trash. Gabe sees him. Gabe knows this technology and thinks, I could get myself a pretty good buck if I can get this thing back to life. Cool. On eBay. Because, eBay is where it's at. So we learned that Gabe is a very, very techie person. We saw him fixing the security camera earlier. Turns out that's not the only camera in this fucking place.
Jesus, I know.
He has set up cameras in virtually every apartment. Maybe not all of them. Maybe the key apartments. Like if there's
all the one with attractive women, yeah. Yeah,
conveniently. But he's also hooked into Kaslan. He's definitely a fucking fan of Kaslan. He has the speaker box, just like Alexa. Alexa, turn on the lights. He's just like, Kaslan, turn on the lights. He's in. He's fully into this technology.
Yeah, he is.
And he's wired in. Wi-Fi. He's into the cloud of Kaslan, spelled with a K, I'm assuming.
He even lets Kaslan control his water heater.
Yeah,
that's really in.
I mean, that's what the Nest is, right? The Google Nest. The same thing.
Does not control your water heater.
Yeah, you just go in the fan, so they turn the hot water heater down. So
I do hundreds of inspections a year, and I've never seen such a thing.
Well, you don't live in whatever fictional town this was set in. New York?
True.
Was this New York?
I don't know.
They don't even say. And so he has a big plan. He's going to bring Chucky back to life and sell him on eBay. He replaces the arc reactor at some point. I don't know where he gets the battery, but he's just like, oh, sweet. Puts it in. Chucky's like, but Chucky didn't lose his memory. Which maybe that's designed in, right? Like,
yeah, it could be just a power supply rather than an actual storage.
Almost surely just the power supply, but still, I feel like whenever I turn my PS4 turns off, it always has to recover memory. Like, it's not just like, oh, we're back at normal. It's always like, cross your fingers, hope that my external hard drive doesn't get fucked whenever it's trying to reboot. They figured out the technology apparently. So while this is happening, we do see all the creepy cameras. We see. We also see once he brings Chucky back to life that he sees that Aubrey Plaza's Karen is about to hop in the bath, and this is a very exciting moment for Creepy Gabe because I'm assuming that so earlier in the movie he had creepy stared at at Karen. Creepy Gabe did, and so we kind of get a vibe of he's just kind of creepy. It turns out she was right. She had a very good situation. She doesn't know that the women or the men that she's intimate with are assholes, but she very much knows that this guy's being creepy. Because up until that point, we have no reason to believe he's creepy, except he's being creepy. But she was right. So her radar's functioning at some bandwidth. I don't know which.
We're semi-accurate, which is good.
we're one for two, 50%. Not a bad batting average in baseball. That's all I'm saying. Actually, it's an amazing batting average in baseball.
Actually, it is, yeah.
So
0.500, and every team would want you.
So he's about to probably masturbate, you imagine? Either way, he's really excited. But while he's doing this, of course, our faithful dispatcher of assholes, Chucky, gets back to life. But before that, the key point I want to highlight is that he did connect Chucky to the cloud. And now Chucky is plugged in, if you will. He has powers beyond measure because everything's apparently connected to Kaslan. Even Uber cars, self-driving Uber cars.
Oh, it gets worse than Uber cars.
I would be remiss if we didn't go back and introduce Mike, the detective. He had some interesting moments with Andy in the first act as well, and that's our bad for missing that. He's actually a really awesome character in this movie.
He is funny. He was good.
So he kind of takes a shine to Andy. He invites him to get to eat dinner with his mom, who lives in the same complex as Andy and Karen. He's like, anytime you want to come in, man, and help me out with my mom, just let me know. Funnily enough, Karen does not trust Mike the detective, even though Mike the detective, pretty good guy, right? Like,
so not so good radar again.
1 for 3, still good in baseball.
That's true. 0.333.
So I just want to introduce him. His mom lives here. He's a detective, not a good one, if we're going to be honest, but he is a detective, and he lives in the house, or he doesn't live in the apartment complex, but he's there a lot because his mom's there.
Yeah, very likable character.
Very likable. And his mom's actually likable as well. So Chucky gets to life, finds out he's plugged into the Matrix, and really decides to kill creepy Gabe, which, again, so far, Kat, fan of the killing, rather. Gabe, fan of the killing as well. Chucky grabs a knife and does like raptor quiet movement, slashes into Gabe's legs.
Yeah.
While turning the lights off and all that shit.
Yeah, he got really fast all of a sudden, by the way. Oh, man, he's sneaky.
To the cloud, spelled with a K. You just run fast. You know what I'm talking about? It's real speedy. You got the gigabit internet, which is you're in. So he's slicing, he's dicing. Gabe's really freaking out. The whole time I'm like, fuck, I can't wait for this. You know what I'm talking about? Like I'm like, yes, this guy's an asshole. Let's do this. For whatever reason, Gabe in his basement parlor of foyer. There's a term for it starts with an F. There's a term for watching people when you shouldn't. You're peeping Tom, essentially. I forget. Yeah. Voyeurism? Is that the word?
That would be with a V, but I don't actually know what the definition of voyeurism is, but it could be.
We're about to pause this podcast and look up the term for voyeurism.
Oh my gosh. No, just keep talking. I'll look it
up. So he's fucking Gabe up. Gabe smartly decides to get on the table.
You are correct.
Okay. I don't know how V and F, they're real close. You know what I'm talking about? They even look the same. He gets on the table, not sure how, because he's been slicing leg quite a bit. Does he get an Achilles tendon? I don't think he does. I don't remember. No. He just sliced some cat.
They've got to be minor flesh wounds. So
he gets on the table. Gabe is not the most athletic of those, so it is impressive he's able to get on the table. Which was a smart move, right? Like, short fucking dolls attacking me. Get on the table. Haha, you can't jump, bitch. But he still kind of gets stabbed, and so he grabs onto the pipe above his head, and we get the next kill in this movie, which is really cool. For whatever reason, Gabe has a table saw down in the basement. I guess on top of voyeurism, he likes making chairs.
He does repairs, so this is his all-purpose basement.
Whatever. So he hangs onto the pipe above his head, which you've accurately, I don't know, you know more than I do. I guess it's the water heater pipe. And Chucky busts out his finger with the little LED light in it and turns off the stat to 100. It gets up there, right? Like, not like a
setting. He goes to like 180 something. Like, I kept wondering, like, how high is it going to actually go? Like, can it actually get that high?
It's a digital readout, man. It can go as far as it fucking will. How many you got? That's how we're gonna go. Like, right? You have that dial, right? That only goes to like 90 something. Yeah. For what's the reason? Like, if you wanted it to be 90 in your house, but it's a digital readout, right? So as many digits as you have, so he turns the heat up, which I guess turns the heater or the water heater on, which makes the pipe hot. During this time, the table has flipped over and he's turned the saw on. So you already know what's going to happen. But while I was watching it, I was like, how far are they going to go with this? Is this going to be a stupid look away and blood pops up on the wall and that's it? And they did that.
And then they show you.
They show him it's fucking sawed in half, right through the dick, right into the chest. I forgot how far it goes up to, but it was a good. I was like, okay, rad. Like they totally set me up. Like, yeah, we're just gonna look right on the ceiling. That's it. Nah, we got you. And just going through his chest. So I was like, okay, cool movie. I like you. So Chucky's free. Yeah, he killed Gabe. He does watch Gabe watch Karen. And I think we can maybe justify his AI learning ability that as far as caring of people, he has Andy and Karen underneath. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can justify his killing of Gabe, the fact that he's kind of watching his mom. Or he just wanted to kill him. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really any motivation for Chucky, to want. Essentially, the standard, the way the movie is written, is that Chucky only cares about Andy. Right. So there absolutely is there's nothing to give Chucky the motivation for wanting to hurt him. But ultimately, like, it's a movie and it's a Chucky movie, and so. Kind of like, why not? He needs to get out of there. He needs to escape. Yeah. He wants to sell Chucky on eBay, and Chucky wants to go back to Andy. So we'll call that motivation.
Yeah, and then he has that bit wherever kind of Gabe's being an asshole when he's like breaking Chucky open. He's like, let's see what's inside, and he kind of keeps that with him. So maybe he was violated.
Powered off, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, he kind of and stuff. Backup. It's a backup generator. He has it in the back. It's in his left foot, actually. Gotcha. So he kind of keeps it. That stays with him, right? It comes back at the end of the movie. But he kills Gabe, and fuck Gabe. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, don't care. Yeah, plot hole, don't care. I'm really glad Gabe back. So he gets out of the basement, and he kind of starts having his hit list, right? He's like, who else do I need to get rid of? So he remembers that I think Shane dies before Mike's mom dies. I think that's chronologically
happening. Yeah, Shane dies next.
Right. So his next on this list is Shane, in which case that's 2 for 2 for me, 3 for 3 actually, of kills I'm okay with. I'm like, all right, let's fucking kill Shane. So we get a good scene where Shane has an argument with Karen about how Andy is being a dick, and Karen's kind of like, you can't do that. I'm establishing these lines. You're not allowed to talk to my kid like that. And Shane's like, well, fuck this, and goes home. And in case you already didn't hate Shane enough, we're going to go ahead and introduce the fact that apparently Karen is the other woman in this relationship, because Shane pops down the visor, which is traditionally in movies where you keep the keys, but this is where he keeps his wedding ring on. So puts his wedding ring on, goes home, and not only is he married, he has 2 kids
Yeah.
Two little girls, and he he seems like this was the only time we're introduced to Shane is when he walks home. You're like, seems like he's a good guy with his family, who likes to complain a lot about taking Christmas lights down at night.
Yeah.
A funny bit we get to talk about
Which
now.
makes no sense.
It doesn't, but it's fun. But it doesn't make sense. So he gets home. He has a work call, and he's upset. He's complaining about that. He's home. He seems relatively fine at home. Like, it's not like he's an abusive husband or anything. But then, for whatever reason, she wants to take the Christmas lights down, or his wife sends him to take the Christmas lights down. And he makes the argument I would make, like, let's just fucking leave them up for the whole year. Why am I taking them down now?
Yeah.
Apparently, it is Christmas. We didn't get any kind of information on that for the rest of the movie. I think this is the first inclination that it's around Christmas time, besides the fact that Chucky 2 is going to go on sale soon, right? It would make sense that be a holiday kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then it happens after he's taking the Christmas lights down. I don't know. Either way, what it sets up is that that dumbass Shane is like, well, it's 11 at night. I'm going to take these still plugged in Christmas lights down at night.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like early night. It's like at this point you already went over to Karen's house for a little while.
Yeah, got stuck on there, and then you came back home.
Had a couple of beers, you drove home, and they made it seem like it was quite a drive, right? It wasn't like down the street, right? They had the short little, car scene where he's coming up over and down the hill. You know what I mean? Like they do that whole. This was 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, whatever crap they do. So they make it seem like it's got to be like 10 o'clock at least.
Because their apartment complex is like inner city, and he goes out to the burbs to go back home. But anyways, he's complaining, like, "What the fuck? I took these lights on." And he like wraps them around his shoulder. He starts with the second story, of course, and of course Chucky's there. How does he get there?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, many problems with this.
He probably ordered the Uber from Kaslan. He was just like, doot, and then Kaslan car.
They actually should have shown that, because I seriously would have loved it if they actually did that. You know what I mean? It would make so much sense, and it would be such an easy way to explain this. Otherwise, Chucky climbs out of the apartment on his own, gets out of the apartment on his own, hides in his truck, which we know he locks because we've seen him unlock his truck in the movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? Like he's gone way past any form of, home doll at this point, right? He is a full-on serial killer who's actually planning this stuff out,
I like to think he took a Kaslan Uber. It's a cool way. In my canon, that's what he did. So he does follow Shane to his house, and he starts off with the lovely horror. He gets in the full horror slasher genre action by just tapping the ladder first, right? Really fucking with them. And that's how I found I enjoy horror more now. Is if you imagine that all of these slasher film people really like to fuck with people, right? They could just kill you. Mm-hmm. But what if I hid in the closet? That's real fucking cool. You know what I'm talking about? Like that, if you kind of like go in that mentality and realize that all these people are also really like to fuck with people, then everything makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't. You're like, why? Just fucking stab him, right? Yeah. Like in the latest Halloween movie where he was in the closet. There's no reason for him to do that. He was already in the house. He could have killed both of them at that point. But what if you were in the closet? And she opens the closet? That'd be fucking cool. You know what I'm talking about? So, anyways, he sets that up, and he ends up. I don't know. I've taken down lights with my dad, and I hated it every time because every time I came home from college, he was like, "Well, let's take the lights down." I'm like, "God damn it! You could have done that for fucking 3 weeks. Why are you waiting until I get here to fucking take the lights down, ass?" But anyways. So he wraps him around.
Dad, if you're watching this, I love you.
He wraps him around diagonally. Right? I was like, why is he?
Yeah, he's weird.
I don't know. He's so fucking weird. And so it ends up, Chucky pushes him down. And again, I think it was the second Toy Story, and so we get a great scene of both of his shins breaking.
It was so cool. It just split out the sides, and he's just standing there.
It's fucked up. And also, I said suburbs, but he has like a watermelon farm in his backyard, so maybe deeper than suburbs.
That's true. That's
He
true.
has corn stalks and shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But it only sets up the fact that there's an awesome gas-powered tiller that Chucky gets to use to try and kill
hold
him.
on. It can't be gas-powered anymore because
Chucky
turns it on and uses it.
No, he just yanked the wire. It was gas.
Seriously?
Yeah. He was like,
That's even worse.
Whatever.
Have you ever? I know you've tried to start a gas lawnmower or a gas tiller or a gas anything.
I agree, but
you need a full 6 foot range of motion.
How many times people started motorcycles in movies where the first try it's good to go, unless it's a moment where there's a time issue and it needs to start immediately, in which course it doesn't start immediately. Like it builds. If it doesn't build the tension, it's going to start immediately. Anyway, so he's on the ground, two busted legs with fucking bones poking out of his fucking skin, and Chucky starts the tiller, and he's not pushing it; it's just kind of going forward. And so it's a kind of an interesting moment where he has the lights on him. He sees the tiller coming. He's like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" But Shane doesn't freak out too much because he actually does just put his hands up and stops it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, Shane, good job. Like you just just grab it here and prevent it. But Chucky was waiting for that shit, and he pops on his chest. He grabs a knife, and does he better the line? Let's see what's inside of you here. I don't remember if he says that to him.
I can't remember.
I think he says that to Andy. I don't think he says it here. Chucky hops on his chest, and he has a knife. And so Shane is like, I got a decision to make. This doll's about to stab me. But I'm still reeling from the fact that this doll is sentient and has a knife and is about to kill me. Also, I have a tiller that's going to destroy my head. So I can either stop the tiller and get stabbed, or try and stop the doll and then get my head chewed up. I'm a fan of the second one, and he ends up going for that one. And then just his head gets and I'm like, yeah, I will give credit to Shane. This is a very tense moment as far as making decisions, because he just had both things broken, and this tiller's about to kill him, and also there's this crazy doll in his chest. This is not a normal moment. It's hard to think through all this shit right now. Either way, he chooses to try and stop the doll, which then progresses the tiller to just destroy his fucking skull.
Yeah.
So we later see Detective Mike, which apparently his jurisdiction stretches really far in this movie, because again, they were on some kind of farm way far away from the inner city.
Yeah.
But he gets to be there, and the face is gone. And I remember watching that, and I was like, did the tiller just eat his face?
That's what I thought too.
I was like, I guess maybe. Like, it would just rip it. Just like the skin would flop off. But no, it did not. So Andy ends up coming home, and he finds one of the watermelons from the farm with fucking Shane's face pinned on it in his room. And he's like, fuck! And so his first thought was, I need to get my friends, the council of friends, to decide what we need to do right here. Because he brings his friends in, and he's like, look at that shit! And they're like, oh, fuck! What do we do? And he has the gift wrap from the Chucky doll from earlier in the movie, and Pug's like, I got a plan. And so they wrap the watermelon with the face of Shane still on it. And what proceeds to be one of the funnier moments of this movie, where they all three have it. And again, how do they solve their problems in this movie?
The trash chute.
Exactly. That was their plan. They're going to cover this watermelon up and just throw it down the chute. Because, Gabe's dead. He's not going to fucking find the watermelon face, right? So it's fine. And so they walk out, and Aubrey Plaza's like, what's that? Where are you guys going? And then they're like, I forget. Did Pug kind of say like a line? Like, if anyone asks, this is what we gotta say. I forgot like if they had a plan before they walked out.
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think they won it.
So Andy's like, it's a present for Mike's mom down the way. She tutors me at school and stuff, and I wanted to give her a gift. And so Aubrey's like, oh, that's right. Well, let's go give it to her together. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like she's just like, I'm pretty sure you're bullshitting me. So let's go ahead and see where this goes.
Yeah.
They go down the hallway. Mike's mom answers. I forgot her name, to be honest. Mike's mom plays it kind of cool because and Andy's like, and she's like, oh yeah, for the tutoring, we totally do. Yeah. I'll take the present. Thanks. I'll open it. And he's like, don't open it now. It's my birthday next week, so we'll open our presents. And she's like, that's a really weird request, but okay. And Aubrey pauses, just like, whatever. And so now Andy has less than a week to sneak in there and get rid of the evidence. Holy shit, Chucky's still alive. And so he's dealing with that, and I think, Chucky finds a box to live in, another Chucky box, and he delivers himself to another acquaintance of theirs.
How did he get himself in the box?
I forgot his name. The one who was like, and this is for Tupac. I forgot, like, when they taught him how to stab. I forgot that kid's name. That's going to look it up real quick. Bill Samaritime. Need to find this kid's name. Omar. His name's Omar.
Omar.
So Omar gets a Chucky delivered because Chucky figured out a good way to fuck with Andy was to deliver himself to another kid. So Pug and Kaslan at some point, or Fallon, I don't want to say Kaslan. Pug and Fallon are like, guess what showed up on Omar's doorstep? A fucking Chucky doll. Which this is one of those plot holes you're probably going to call out later. But Chucky starts doing some crazy shit. He's like doing some wacky stuff that Omar is teaching him, and Andy's kind of like weirded out a little bit, but he doesn't really know that this is that Chucky. And so we end up, I'm trying to think if there's any other stuff that happens in between here. Mike goes to some murder scenes. He goes to creepy Gabe's crime scene. He gets to the crime scene way off in the middle of fucking nowhere. Apparently he's a detective everywhere. I'm trying to remember chronologically. It doesn't really matter. I'll talk about both events, but I'm trying to remember if they go to Karen's place of work before his mom gets in the car or after. I think it's after. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's
I got
definitely after, because that's what starts the final scene.
Yeah. So they all go to Karen's place of work. I think it's Zedmart or Zedmart. It starts with Zedmart. And of course, Chucky starts taking over all of the technology and starts going into Andy's earpiece and is like, I just want to be your friend, Andy. I really want to just be your friend. Start fucking with him. Of course, Andy starts freaking out and is like, shut up. It's just like hits all the TVs and just really starts freaking out. And then he goes and starts trying to kill Omar's Chucky doll. I forgot what he calls him. He calls him something stupid.
Yeah.
I forgot. It's whatever. I forgot what it was. Because he's right. That is the evil Chucky. But he ends up like punching Omar in the face and pushing Pug into like a stereo, a speaker, I think is what he pushed his face into.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Pug's line is when he gets pushed by his friend, immediately not friends anymore.
Right.
And Fallon's just, I think she's kind of like, I don't know, I guess that's where we're going to have this. But anyways, what ends up happening is that the key important part of the scene is that everyone thinks Andy's crazy. So does his mom. He gets Omar's phone, and he takes that with him to his house. Later, I think the scene where he and his mom kind of have it out, I'm trying to remember if that, when she learns about Shane being an asshole and that he's dead. I'm trying to remember that scene. Whenever Mike shows up to the house. I'm trying to remember when that happened. I'm gonna go ahead and so whenever Karen's character finds out that Shane's dead, and also Shane's married, and that she has poor judgment in men. I'm trying to remember when that scene happens, because I know it happens, and she's like, "God, I should have known. I picked the wrong guys." And you're like, "Yeah, Karen, you should have known." And Mike's there, and he talks to Andy for a little bit, and is like, "Hey, do you know what happened? I'm kind of being somewhat suspicious of you for." The kid's acting suspicious, but I don't know how Mike can put it together at this point that this kid killed this grown man.
Yeah, I don't know that he fully knows that or believes that at this point. You know what I mean? It really isn't until later when they find his face in the trash can wrapped up like a present that he's like, here's the common denominator in all of this.
Anyway, he thinks he's weird. It's kind of, you're acting weird.
For sure.
So that scene happens. He also infiltrates Mike's mom's place, and the guy's going to dinner finally. We get a great scene where Mike's like, "No," and shuts the door. And he, so, because I know I'm just
so
kidding. Come on, man. They have a good scene. We grow to like Mike's character. We go to like Mike's mom's character. We learn that Mike's mom needs help going to bingo, and so Andy downloads the app, the Uber app that Kasdan runs. It's like, yeah, you just need to call it. It'll pick you up and you can go. And then Andy uses this moment while they're away from the table to grab the head present and then run out and just toss it down the chute, because that's how you solve all your problems. And I think also another key scene here is that Omar's phone. Yeah, so Andy gets Omar's phone. He tracks Chucky. He sees that Chucky is standing outside of the apartment waiting for Mike's mom to get into the Kasdan car. And he freaks out and he runs downstairs, tries to save her, but she drives off. Initially, we think that the car is going to fucking kill her immediately because it just randomly reverses after it picks her up. It's fine. Like, it was a good, like, twisting what you're expecting, and it goes off. And Andy runs back upstairs after that, right? And he freaks out to her mom and is like, Chucky's alive. I like how he started. He's like, "You're not going to believe me, but just believe me, Mom," which I appreciate, right? Because this is a wacky fucking situation.
Yeah.
You're trying to explain it to an adult. You're like, just hear me out. Anyways, no one believes him. So he kind of confesses, Chucky kills everyone, killed your cat. Actually, Chucky leaves the collar of the cat on the doorknob randomly. And so that's where she brings that up. He's like, "Chucky's killing everybody. No one believes me," or like, I guess he hasn't really told anybody, but he was like, "You gotta believe me, you gotta believe me." She's like, "Why the fuck would you do that? I have Omar's phone, and I saw the Chucky doll went after it." He's like, "Why the fuck do you have Omar's phone?" And he's like, "I'm gonna go give it back to Omar. You need to fucking stay in here." She's really upset. I guess Omar lives in the same apartment complex, which I guess kind of makes sense. But so she hands it back to Omar. While she's doing that, Andy is in the house, and Chucky takes over everything. It's like, "I just want to be your best friend, Andy." Like, just fucking with him with every electronic that he now has in his power. And Andy loses it and just starts breaking shit. And I thought it was a real touching scene, which was kind of why I'm bringing it up, is that Karen walks in during this and just really freaked out that Andy's just fucking losing his mind. That's what she thinks.
Yeah.
She, as a movie audience, know that he's really on point right now. Like, he's probably the only one who knows what's going on. And also, he's a kid, so him taking the Louisville Slugger to his TV and shit makes a little bit of sense. And so she's like, "You're coming to work with me. I got to work the midnight shift because fucking Buddy 2 version 2 is coming out, and then you got to stay at that place because you're in trouble." And so we get sent there. We do get another kill, the first kill that I don't agree with in this movie, just because I like her, not because it's fine. You could kill people I like in movies, but I'm just saying, or the kills I'm like, yeah, fuck those people. But this time I'm like, oh man. So Chucky feels threatened because at some point during the conversation at the dinner table, Mike's mom had said, "You're my best friend, Andy." And so Chucky's like, "Oh shit, I'm the only best friend you should have, Andy." So he ends up killing her. freaking her out first, right? Like reversing out, driving it around, fucking with her by taking over the car and like having his voice go through the system. Like Andy's only my friend, and ejects the seatbelt, which was like that's fucking cool. Like you could do that. I don't know how, like, but he turns off. We see him turn off the airbag. So okay with taking over the car, right? The fact that he's gone into the cloud, he's taken it over. Okay with him electronically turning off the airbag. That's fine. I feel like that's an exploit that you could probably take over. But ejecting the seatbelt is interesting.
That's a mechanical. That's a mechanism, right? That requires a physical mover of an object.
Right. Granted, there is an electrical signal to say that your seatbelt has been plugged in or not plugged in, right?
That's a sensor, though.
not a control system. Anyways,
correct.
He ends up wrecking the car. Mike's mom dies. Mike, real sad. I don't know why he let him into the scene.
Right.
To see his mom dead, but anyway. He also later finds, like you had mentioned, he finds the present with the face on it of Shane in the watermelon, and it's in the same wrapping paper that was the present that Andy had given his mom. So he puts two and two together and immediately assumes, I guess, that a kid is a mass murderer.
Sure.
I don't know. He's upset about his mom dying, so I guess we can kind of forgive him for being.
I mean, he's not that young, so it's kind of like okay.
So we get set up, and the third act, like you like to mention, is the resolution. So we still really haven't gotten to the third act, so I guess we can keep going. But
I feel like this is it, because right after this, he goes straight to the Zedmar to arrest Andy, and then all hell breaks loose. And I feel like that is the third act, that whole last scene there.
So yeah, maybe this is the end of the second act. So we got it set up where Andy's in trouble. He's at Zedmart for the release of Buddy System 2. Chucky's progressively killing everyone that he feels is a threat to Andy being the best friend of him. And Mike has figured out that at the very least, Andy's involved with a bunch of shit, or at least knows some shit, but he's very much jumping to the conclusion that he is actually the person that he should arrest right now. Presumably, he's very aggressive, so maybe he actually assumes that he's the bad person, but because like at this moment, you would arrest the person of interest, right? Like you
absolutely, yeah. You're under suspicion. You're going in.
Like he seems like it's personal. Like you killed my mom. Like, I don't know. Like so that's kind of the end of the second act. So how you feeling? You want to keep going, or you want to take a break?
No, we need to keep going. My wife's going to be in bed in about 10 or 15 minutes, and she's not going to want me to be talking. So
let's do this. So third act starts where Andy's just hanging out at the Zedmart, being able to hang out with all the awesome new dolls while everyone else is trying to wait in line to get them. I thought that was interesting. Like, would you really let that kid do that? We get a great scene of the manager having to wear the big ass head to walk out with a fucking Buddy doll. We get the new designs where there's a fucking werewolf Buddy doll now. It's supposed to be it's very scary looking. So Chucky slowly starts taking over. He ends up taking over everything and really tries to kill Andy. We get a good scene of, I forgot when Pug and Fallon realize that shit's crazy to go help Andy, because they end the friendship in the scene that was kind of like Pug's like, fuck Andy, like we really don't like him. But I forgot.
Oh, they look at Omar's phone. They look at his previous recordings
and see that he's the one that killed Mike's mom.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're like, shit, Andy was right. We need to go help him. And that was kind of cool. Like Pug, Fallon, and Omar go to help him out. And so Andy's in trouble real quick. He gets arrested by Mike, Pug, Omar, and Fallon are in there. And then Chucky starts hacking into everything while Andy's getting handcuffed. He stabs the manager in the neck as he's about to walk out for the reveal, and that was kind of fucking cool. I like. It's like he's like, oh shit, and he's dying, and then he takes the big head off and bleeds all over this little girl, just gushing blood everywhere. And so while Mike's arresting his suspect, that happens. And he's like, shit. So he just handcuffs Mike to a fucking cart and then goes off to see what happens. And he's like, oh shit, he's dying. And He's really freaking out. And then Chucky takes over some drones, and the drones start kamikazing into people, just taking some dudes out. And he takes Mike out by cutting his neck. And so Mike is down for the count. Not forever, apparently, but he's down for now. And so, and then all the Chucky dolls get taken over, much like iRobot.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so they all get red eyes, and they start fucking killing everyone. And it's real fucking creepy. Like the bear ones, real fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So they slowly start killing everyone in this place. He's shut the shutters. He's fucking closed it. Everyone's fucking freaking out. He starts murdering a bunch of people, and he's trying to get away. And one of the dolls starts slowly crawling at him, just like fucking with them, just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, but I'm gonna eat this fucking moment up real quick before I kill you. And that's when Pug and Fallon show up, and they beat the fuck out of that thing. They try to get him out. It's all chaos. It's a great scene. I'm sure I'll hit the highlights, but it's better to just watch this fun scene at the end of the movie. So the kids fuck shit up. They all have weapons. The weapons are funny. I'm trying to remember what they all had. Because fucking Fallon had like a blade of some sort, like an axe sword.
It was sort of like some kind of hunting axe, or like a hatchet axe, like a hax or something. It was a small-handled axe, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it had like a good 6-inch blade on it. And then the other one had a hedge trimmer.
Yeah, that was kind of... Alan had the hedge trimmer, if I remember correctly. I think Pug had the axe. I forgot what Omar had. But anyways, so they try to get the fuck out of Dodge, right? Because the shutter's shutting down. Like, fuck, we gotta go. And everyone's dead, apparently, pretty much. And so they're about to get out. And then Chucky's like, oh, I got your mom, because he had somehow like hog-tied his mom, put a noose around her neck, and connected it to a forklift, which I actually thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Andy's like, shit. And then the kids are like, we gotta get out of here, man. He's fucking murdering everything. And he's like, you're right, let's go. And so they all leave, and he's like, he kicks the cart out and lets the thing drop. He's like, this is my fault. I did this. I need to go save my mom. So we get a great scene of Andy with the hedge trimmer and then the axe on his back. And he's like, no, let's go for this shit. I guess it's electric. I don't know. Maybe it's gas powered. Doesn't matter. So here we go. Final showdown. He sees his mom, and it's a great shot cinematography, right? Because it has the light background, and we just see her silhouette pretty much. And he's walking down the dark hallway of the back room, right, with like all the pallets.
Storage, yeah.
And he gets distracted by another doll, but that's not Chucky. You know, it's faint, if you will. Chucky cranks the forklift up. I've messed with forklifts. Like I worked at Home Depot, and I've been the driver of a forklift. I have a forklift license. I don't know if it's expired by now. Probably. The way that system works is you have to hold the handle down to lift up. You can't just be like, go up now.
Right.
So I guess he might have like tied the handle down to lift it up. I don't know. It's whatever. She's getting lifted and slowly choking to death while Andy has a fight with Chucky. He says, I just want to make you happy. And that fight and tussle's going on. Andy kicks Chucky away, and I don't know, man. I just would have went to the forklift and lowered it, but whatever. Like he decided to climb the fucking dangerous fucking storage pallet things and just take the hedge trimmer to the rope, try and cut it down. Which, depending on how high this forklift went, which they can go pretty fucking high, dropping her at this height might not be good, because like she might pull the chain and broke the fucking shins break. I guess I've made, depending if she doesn't land on her head. So that was his gambit he pulled. Chucky follows him, and so they're both hanging on the rope, and Chucky tries to stab him, but he gets the knife away from Chucky, and he uses that to cut the rope. Now he decides to cut the rope above where his handle is, which is an interesting choice, because you very much could have just cut it below your handhold. But he was like, fuck it, we're all falling. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Who cares? Fucking the bucket. This is going to happen. So he cuts above the rope. They all fall down. Andy's mom's apparently fine. Andy seems okay, but a little shooken up. And Chucky gets up. And Chucky's about to go after Andy for the last kill, right? The last scare, if you will. and he's about to stab Andy. He's flying through the air. I think he jumps through the air, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. Yeah. So he jumps through the air. He has a knife. He's like, "Rah!" And he gets shot. And immediately I was like,
yeah, who has the gun?
did Aaron somehow get the gun? And no, it turns out Mike is very much still alive, even though he was down for the count because he got cut earlier.
Yeah.
I guess he was just recovering the last
minor flesh wound, just a drop.
For half an hour, like she was just like everything else is. I'm just gonna let happen for now. I mean, I'm a detective, protector of the people, but nah, I'm gonna catch my breath while all that happens. Anyways, he's back and he shoots Chucky. Fuck yeah, Chucky's down for the count. But no, he isn't. He ends up coming back alive again for another final scare, and then Karen stops him. I forget what she stopped him with. She picks something up. Some weapon. I forget what she does. The only thing I focused on was how the fuck did she untie herself? Because again, she was tied at the feet, she was tied in the arms and the back, and she had a noose on her neck. And she just was almost dead from asphyxiation.
And she just stands up, untied.
It saves her kid's life. And fucks Chucky. Like, just kind of gets rid of Chucky. So Andy's safe. The adults all realize Andy was right. Everyone's cool. We get a great scene of all the kids who have comically light sledgehammers because the way they were swinging them, I was like, can't be real. They're just, they're fucking hollow. And then just go to town on Chucky's dead body. With much like if you've ever seen like railroad workers kind of time their spike hits, that's what it reminded me of. Like they get in a rhythm, so they never hit each other. So it's like jing, 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 jing. But anyways, they fuck Chucky up, and we get I think the movie closes out on the recall video from Kaslan saying, "We're not taking responsibility for the rogue AI murder bot, but just in case, we're just gonna not sell the Buddy 2s."
Yeah, we'll turn in some recalls.
Yeah. Are bad, I guess. So yeah, and that's kind of the end of the movie. We get the AI corrupted by our own fault, human society bit. What did you think? Any final thoughts? I think I covered most of the stuff in this fucking movie.
Yeah, you definitely covered what happens in the movie. I mean, I've got I liked the movie overall. It's fine. I think in my scoring, maybe I give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah. I think, which I still consider in my scoring a 6 out of 10 is watchable, but it's not like don't expect it to be good, right? Don't expect it to not have plot holes in it or something. I think it's got lots of things that I wouldn't have done if I was the movie creator. I do not like the AI concept, and the only reason I don't like it is because they don't pitch it that way. They don't set us up for that. Originally he's an at-home doll that just helps you. He's a friend, and on the box it says for like 8-year-olds or whatever. You know what I mean? So like you're not really thinking it's an artificial intelligence. And somehow it's almost like Kaslan doesn't even know that they created an artificial intelligence. And somehow the first artificial intelligence in this entire universe is in a freaking 2.5-foot tall doll rather than, you know what I mean, somewhere else.
The commercial in the beginning did sell it as an adaptive learning intelligence. Like the doll will learn your routines, and you forgot your book, Andy. Like it sell it as
a way. It's like a Nest thermostat.
Yeah,
my Nest thermostat can do that.
But they did at least say that it can learn.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this is very advanced AI. So
right, when you see how far they take the AI, you're kind of like, holy crap. That is a whole entirely different level of technology.
Yeah. I know I enjoyed it. And like I mentioned to you, there's a great article that I tried to look up before I could get here, but it was kind of an article explaining why, God, I think her name is Beth, the writer. But it explained like why the motivation of Chucky changed from the 80s to now. And that was kind of what I explained at the beginning of the podcast, where in the 80s there was a big scare for the Antichrist, the demon worshipping people were evil and they're going to corrupt your kids. And so when that movie was made then, it made a lot more sense to make the murderer have voodoo magic and corrupt the doll and just put his soul into the doll, and he needs to have another body, otherwise he'll go to hell. Like, that all made sense for the time. And I feel like adapting it to being a technological threat as opposed to a demonic threat makes more sense for the current times we live in. But there is a valid question on, if that was the way you wanted to go, why involve the Chucky name, the Child's Play franchise at all? Right. And I think that is a valid question to ask.
Yeah.
Especially with the fact that we have the TV show coming up from the original creator on Sci-Fi. But as much as that is going to warrant at least some watching, I do feel if they had gone straight demonic, I'm not sure if it would have worked in our present day, right? I just watched Annabelle in research for the new Annabelle movie, where that takes place in the 60s, and they used the Helter Skelter Charles Manson threat for why Annabelle gets possessed by a spirit. And I was like, this doesn't really work now. They even had to make it a period piece for it to make sense. If you tried to instill the same kind of subplot for a movie, I don't think it works. And so that's kind of why I was excited to watch it, to see how they handled it. But it ends up being kind of more of a Black Mirror Twilight Zone episode as opposed to slasher horror flick. I still think it's fun. Like you said, it's watchable. I think it's very watchable. I think you can enjoy it.
Yeah, I do too. I do personally like the voodoo concept. I like it better. I think the way the narrative is told, the way the story is told, because the big part of Chucky is that he wants to be with Andy. Sort of. He really wants to kill Andy to use his body in the originals. Right. And so he has to kill everyone else so that he stays friends with Andy, so that he can kill him when the time is right to transfer his soul over to his body. So when you take that concept out and all you have is artificial intelligence, like, you know what I mean? There's really nothing pushing the narrative, in my opinion. Now it's just AI that's just doing whatever it wants to do, even though they still kind of have the same similar, they try to give us the concept of him wanting to protect Andy, but that, like, there's really should be no more emotion involved, because there really is no soul inside of this doll anymore. Now it's just a computer, right? It should be heartless, essentially. And I guess it kind of is, and then you have the whole point where it actually tries to kill Andy at the end, and you're kind of like, now I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like I agree with you. It's definitely a valid question to ask, why even involve Chucky at all?
Yeah.
They could have just stuck with Child's Play and left Chucky out of it and just kind of did some sort of branch, and that probably would have been fine.
That being said, I do like Mark Hamill's voice acting from straight childlike to he got real fucking scary at the end of this movie.
Yeah, he got real dark.
So I think Mark Hamill handled it. Right, yeah, this is and so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that article, God, I wish I fucking remember. I tried to look it up. I was like, Google article Child's Play, and I couldn't find it. But it's a good comparison of why the story changed from the voodoo kind of demonic stuff to the current AI stuff. And it's another thing. I think I've already talked about this book on this podcast. Dance Macabre from Stephen King, where he goes into the horror genre up until maybe the early 80s when he wrote the novel. So like the 40s to the 80s is what he wrote about, and how the horror genre is super interesting, where it's very reflective of the political and social fears of the time, reflect the horror movies of that time, right? So you start in the 40s with the invention of the atom bomb. So the scientists in the horror movies back then were the bad guys, and the military were the good guys. because the scientists, they play too much, and so they're bad. And then you move into like the Vietnam era where it flipped, and so the government and the military were the bad people. They were the bad guys in the horror movies, and the scientists were the good people. And it's a fucking fascinating book to be like, oh yeah, and that still happens now, right? Like our horror movies have come with us, and they reflect the social and political climate of the time, and it's just kind of a natural thing we don't ever think about. Like anytime, like the whole reason Godzilla is a fucking genre, and that being is because of the nukes that dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? That is where those movies came from. That's why I love horror so much, and that's why I'm willing to watch these movies, regardless of maybe their qualities per se. Because I just find it interesting, the kind of the stuff, the motivations you have behind them, and I feel like they have merit regardless of how watchable they are or not. I watched real quick while we're wrapping this up. I watched a movie that I would convince you to. There's two movies I want you to watch without me telling you anything about them. First one, I got shout out to Dead Meat, the YouTube channel. They do the kill counts. I don't know if I've ever told you to watch those YouTube channel, but they're fucking good. He's really good. He's fantastic. They end up being like, they start off as kill counts, but he ends up just recounting the movie in general and just making fun of it. He does them for a lot of horror movies, but he did one on Sleepaway Camp, which was a 1980s slasher flick, very much where Jason's and Freddy's were coming out. But it's its own special fucking bit of cult horror cinema. So I will recommend that to listeners and to you. Just watch it. Don't look anything up about it. Maybe I'll shoot a show. If you watch it and you want to shoot a show, let me know, because I will do it. The other one is on Netflix, and it's called The Perfection. That one's been out for a bit. A lot of people have been talking about it. I would encourage you to watch it without actually looking up anything about it, because I feel like that is the best way to watch that film. If you have to be convinced, then maybe watch the trailer. I still feel like that trailer lets, like when you go to Netflix and you just stay on The Perfection and it kind of starts playing the trailer in the background.
I've done it several times already because I'm sort of kind of interested in it. So I rewatched the trailer to think, am I really interested in it? I don't know.
I would encourage you to watch it, because I could shoot a show on that film too. And that I try to convince like a lot of my friends currently to just watch these films without learning anything about them, because I want to be fascinated by people without having anything going in to watch those films. So those would be two recommendations. While we're on the horror genre, currently trying to think if there's any other horror movies coming out soon. I really want to watch Ma, but it's already out of theaters, or at least showings that I can watch. I missed it because I was sick. That's what happened. Remember, I was sick for a week.
Oh yeah.
Oh. That was the weekend I was going to watch Ma, and I would have loved to fucking watch that movie. Anyways, any lasting thoughts on Child's Play, Travis? While we're here, should they go watch it? Should people not go watch it? I don't know. Anything else? Any observations that you made?
Okay, so I'll say if you're a big fan of the Child's Play and Chucky movies, then you definitely need to go watch it, just because you need to support, the concept, the stuff that you like. You need to support it financially and go watch these movies. If you're not a big fan of it, then don't worry about it, because there's not really. It's loosely even similar. They use the same names and the same ideas, but the movies are not really. They're really two separate movies. They're really two different movies. So.
Yeah. All right, yeah, and I kind of share the same feeling. I think I had a good time while watching it. I watched it with a buddy of mine.
Yeah, and I laughed a lot.
Yeah, I think it was pretty darkly funny. I enjoyed myself. The other real quick recommendation, I did watch Terrifier. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie.
I have not.
I kind of want you to watch that one too, just from the sense that it's a low budget. Like if you and me had more talent, but a similar budget that we currently have and made a movie, I feel like that's what that was. And I feel like it was shot. Again, Dead Meat Podcast, they kind of go into this where there's a difference between writers and cinematographers when they make movies like this, and this is very much someone who is more of a cinematographer, in the sense that they had a couple scenes that were like, this is fucking cool, and then they're like, how do we write a story around these cool scenes?
Yeah.
and that's kind of what that horror movie is about. And so there's a really the writing's not the best. Like there's kind of like why, but
Yeah.
the scenes that you will see them. When you watch it, you'll be like, yeah, that was a cool fucking scene. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like if you could have made like an anthology short story kind of thing, like a VHS, it probably would have played better. But they tried to make it into one movie. But anyways, Terrifiers, that was a fun, stupid, dumb, low budget horror movie that I enjoyed. Anyways, let's go ahead.
Started watching. Sorry, go ahead. You can finish it.
No, go for it. I was about to wrap it up.
I was gonna say I just started watching Slasher. The series on Netflix.
I watched the first 2 seasons. I haven't watched the third yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. The third season just dropped like a couple weeks ago, recently. Right. So I'm actually gonna finish season 1 tonight. So I'm quite surprised.
It's fun.
I expected it to be really bad, but still funny and enjoyable in that way. But I'm like, it's actually not really that bad. Like, it's not that bad at all, actually.
It's still not good.
It's not, no.
But when I watched it, I wasn't offended. I wasn't just like, I was like, this.
Yeah. You're not bored.
This is fun. And then the second season, it's an anthology, right? So a lot of the similar actors are in the second season, but it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Same for the third. I need to watch the third. That was a fun show. And unfortunately, I watched that show with my ex. That was an ex show, so that's why I kind of like, should I?
I got you. You gotta cleanse it though. You gotta cleanse it now, though. You know.
It's I don't know, and I still want to watch Jessica Jones, but the fact that it's over, right? It's done. Like that's the last one. Makes me sad. And so
I just uploaded my review, and I gotta say, I thought it was really good. I thought it's arguably so. Kilgrave is like hands down one of the best villains of all time. He's really good, and they chose a really good actor to play that role. But the series, the season in itself, everything tied together, I think is the best season of the series. I thought it was done really, really, really well, actually.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. It's just I'm bummed out, right? That
a lot of people are upset about it. Not about the season, but about the fact that it's canceled. So like, why even bother watching it?
Yeah.
You know.
I still plan on watching it, but I kind of feel there's no like motivation like I used to have, you know, where I text you like Saturday morning and be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I will eventually watch it, but it's still kind of a bummer. Maybe we'll have a show about it. I don't know. If you wanted to shoot a shit about it, we'll see. TV shows are always interesting with this show to try and shoot a show about but something so long.
Yeah.
We've only done it a couple times, so we'll see. Anyways, we're just going to keep running off and rambling if we don't roll this in. So yeah, Chucky, Child's Play, it was fun. TV show's coming up. Maybe we'll watch it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But it was a fun movie. Any lasting thoughts? Anything you want to say?
Nope.
I got some stuff to say. Okay. Again, I have an email, thelunarscut@gmail.com. So email me if you want to just get a hold of me. Tell me my hats are dumb. Tell me my shirts are dumb. There's a quick shot of this current shirt. It's a Crow t-shirt that I love quite a bit. Travis, you can show your shirt off if you want to.
I can't see.
Stand up. It's fine. There it is. Gizmo. But yeah, or if you have any suggestions, any things you think we should watch, we should talk about, be part of the discussion, right? If you had any thoughts about Child's Play, email me and I can read them in the next show. Feel free. Hit me up. Travis, do you want me to share anything about your YouTube channel? What's already
If you're obviously if you're checking out the podcast and you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, head over to YouTube, check out Moon Movie Review. But those of you that do, please know that I will be changing the name of Moon Movie Review in just a week or two to the Movie Watcher Club. Hence why we call you guys movie watchers, because Kevin and we are also movie watchers, because we're all movie watchers, because being a movie watcher is cool. So
I need to change the rigmarole at some point because it's still a movie review.
It's fine for now. I haven't changed anything yet. I got just there's steps you have to go through. So yeah, I'm not there yet.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Recently there's been quite a few consistent listeners, so it's been rad to see the map of geographical people listening to the podcast. Alaska, the UK, Australia.
That's cool.
if you're from those areas, email me just to be like, "Oi, mate." I don't know, whatever you're going to say. Just
Oi, mate.
back my just to make me smile a bit. But thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this passion of mine where I just love to talk movies with my friends for way too long. Honestly, I am not shy about the fact that I kind of use this as a way to keep in touch with my friends, and it just happens to be something that I'm passionate about, and I throw it on the internet. Maybe some people enjoy it.
Sweet.
By the way, watch Booksmart. If it's still in theaters, that's a good movie. Go watch it. No one watched that movie, and it bums me out. That was such a fun movie, and I really hope that my show, when we talked about it, me and Lacey, was good enough to kind of express how fun of a movie that was. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And we will see you next week with The Rook. I'm not even gonna go. I'm gonna have a teaser, real quick, 2-minute episodes with Lacey. That's a novel series that we like, and they're making a Stars show of it. And so I think we're going to have a review every week of that show. We're going to see how it goes. Nice. Of course, and then we'll stop. Like, we don't know. Like, it's a show that's coming out, but it's a book series we've always enjoyed, I enjoyed, and I convinced Lacey to get into it, so she wants to hop on. And on top of the normal weekly thing, we might do like a weekly review of those episodes. See how it goes. We're playing it by ear. We don't know what's going on right here. We're not even driving with a steering wheel. Whatever. But yeah, just joining us, and we'll catch you later.
Later.